What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another review. I know this has been a little while since I've been here. It's been about a couple months now, but trying to stay consistent as possible now that we're back, and I'm back with another one that I'm very excited for. One of my most anticipated movies of 2019, so this should be a good one.
We are currently experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by.
So, I'm editing this review. Completely forgot to mention the time codes in the description, because I know this review does get kind of spoilery. So, time codes are in the description if you want to skip some stuff. That is spoilery, and I'll put it in the description. Carry on. Us is the second feature film from writer and director Jordan Peele. It's about the Wilson family going on a summer vacation to a home previously owned by Adelaide, who was played by Lupita Nyong'o. Adelaide is suffering from some form of PTSD because when she was younger, her and her family went to Santa Cruz Pier, and she wound up wandering off and going to a funhouse where she was confronted and attacked by her doppelganger. Now, Adelaide tries to tell her husband, who is played by Winston Duke, that she feels uncomfortable about something, that she can feel something that is getting closer to her, and that she's worried about it and they need to leave. And he seems kind of skeptical at first until we see the doppelganger family, which are called the Tethered, in the driveway, and that's when horror ensues. It is very clear from this movie that Jordan Peele is here to stay as one of the best directors of our generation. I mean, he's 2 movies down, and this movie looked beautiful. From shot choices, what takes he decided to have, how he framed everything. I mean, this movie visually was a beautiful horror movie. I also love that we have a horror movie with a full black lead. I mean, it's Lupita, Winston Duke, and the 2 kids. I'm not familiar with the names right now. Everybody did a wonderful job, and it was a beautiful black family that we have in this horror movie lead, and it feels really, really good to see something like that, because we don't get stuff like that. I mean, the last time we really got something like that was with Jordan Peele with Get Out. And with this all black lead, I think the biggest highlight for me was everybody acted their asses off. I mean, this is Lupita's first, leading role, which doesn't even sound right to me. It doesn't feel like it makes sense, because she's an incredible actress, and I feel like she's been awarded and nominated for so many things, but this is her first leading role, and she is incredible. I mean, Lupita Nyong'o is just terrifying as her tethered self. Her tethered character is called Red, and she has this short afro, and she has this deep, really whispering, menacing, creepy voice where it commands you to listen to what she's saying when she's talking, because she kind of whispers and growls at the same time. It's like a weird, deep, menacing voice, but I noticed that I had to really sit and listen to what she was saying, because and I feel like that's definitely a skill. It pulls you in and makes you want to listen to the dialogue when this person is talking. And also, I mean, it's probably one of the scariest parts of the movie. I know that it's tough to be able to play the light and the dark characters, and to be able to pretty much just act with yourself, but everybody does an incredible job at it. And it makes me really happy to see a lot more Winston Duke. I love seeing Winston Duke in Black Panther. He was one of the highlights of that movie for me. So to see him and be on film a lot more, to be in front of the camera a lot more, makes me happy and makes me want to see him in a lot more things besides horror movies, because he does have great comedic timing in this movie. As much as there were a lot of things that I did enjoy about this movie, I mean, the score, it was a great horror movie score. Everybody acted their asses off, but this one wasn't for me. I mean, the truth of the matter is, it's hard not to compare this movie to Get Out. Get Out was a phenomenal movie. It was, I know they called it a political thriller or political suspense. It's hard to not take how terrifying and how scared I felt watching that movie and apply it to this movie, expecting it to be just as scary, if not scarier, and that I didn't get that sense at all. I think the scariest parts is the parts we see in the trailer when this family is confronted by the doppelgangers, and once it gets past that, I'm kind of waiting for more, and I don't really think that we ever really get more than that. It's hard not to go into a movie like this with high expectations because of how great Get Out was, and when Jordan Peele is tweeting stuff like, this is a horror movie, and I've seen a lot of good horror movies in the last couple of years. I saw Hereditary, I saw A Quiet Place, and those movies, I mean, I'm a scaredy cat, but those movies genuinely scared me, and I was worried about what was happening with this family the whole time and different things that were going on throughout the movie, where I felt unnerved. And there were certain parts of that, but it didn't hold me the whole movie. The truth of the matter is, I found myself laughing at things more than I was scared of things. And I know that Jordan Peele's background is comedy, obviously. We saw him on Mad TV and Key and Peele. but it felt like more of a comedy than it felt like a horror. I was laughing way more than I was ever scared at this movie. And I think that's what kind of hinders this movie, is you put so much emphasis on it being a horror movie, and I personally expected more terrors than I received. That's what disappointed me. If I'm also going to stay on the topic of Get Out, I feel like Jordan kind of contradicted himself a lot with this movie. With Get Out, he talked a lot about how we have this black lead and he's not making stupid decisions and he's not going to go back into this house that he just came from because he knows better and he knows when to escape. But then in this movie, which is his direct follow-up to that movie, we get this family that does that, where they make silly decisions and they run away from things and come right back to the place where they were being attacked at. And it just, a contradiction like that, when you put emphasis, like I said, on why you want to change the horror genre and why you have characters make certain decisions, and then to contradict that in the next movie, felt kind of weird to me. And I know that he wants to keep it a traditional horror movie and you have to use the horror tropes, but I felt like he would be the person to step away from those horror tropes to make a better, more appealing horror movie, I should say. And this one felt way more artsy, like he wanted to flex his art muscle a little bit, and I'm not sure if I connected with it as much as I would have liked to. From more of a technical side, and from my film nerds out there, certain shots just felt like they sat for too long. Like there's an intro scene, and we see it in the trailers when we see the shot of the bunnies in the cages, and it's the credit scene. I mean, it's just one single shot, but like there were certain things like that in the movie. Like there's a scene where Winston Duke's character is being chased by his tethered character. His tethered character hits him in the leg with a bat, so he's kind of just crawling around everywhere, and the family is separated. And it cuts to this shot of his tethered character following him 4 times. And that's it. It's just him following him. It's just him grunting, looking threatening and menacing. But I'm just like, after the second time, I'm like, okay, I get it. What's next? Like, let's move on from this. But it kept cutting back to this scene, and I was just like, the pacing of it kind of took away from the tension, because I'm just like, okay, we get it. It's Winston Duke again. He's being followed by his tethered, and he's pleading with him like, please don't do this, please don't do this. But after 4 times, I'm like, bro, let's get this going. And it's not just that scene. That movie has a lot of things where I'm just like, okay, what's next? Let's move on from this. And the pacing of that in a horror movie where I just kind of want to move on from something is kind of weird for me. The biggest problem I have with this movie, which is why I didn't love the movie as much as I did, and this is a major spoiler, so if you haven't been paying attention to the time codes in the description or listening to what I said in the beginning and you're just going to listen to what I have to say, you spoiled it for yourself, whatever, I'm not going to go back now. I saw the twist ending happening when I watched the trailer 4 months ago when it first came out. And that is a huge problem for me. And I know a lot of people are comparing him to Hitchcock and the twist like M. Night Shyamalan, but for me as a person that has seen Hitchcock movies and M. Night Shyamalan movies where they hide the twist and you don't really understand what's going on until the final act, that took away so much from the movie for me. It bothered me a lot that I was watching the trailer, and if you watch the trailer or you watch the movie, you can see there's obviously something wrong with Lupita Nyong'o. And I remember watching the trailer with my girlfriend and being like, I don't trust her character, I don't like her character, I don't know what's going on there, but I think there's something with the mom. And for me to call that 4 months before the movie comes out is a big problem for me. And if you haven't seen the movie, I mean, it's a spoiler, but you still aren't sure what I'm talking about, but it's obviously that there's something wrong with the mom that's more than meets the eye. I'm not gonna say the whole movie was spoiled for me, because it obviously wasn't. There were some things that I was surprised by, but the big main twist of the movie being spoiled for me in the trailer, it's almost like when you see your Christmas presents before they're wrapped, and it's like, oh, I know I'm getting this big gift and I can't wait to see it on Christmas Day to open it, but the reveal isn't going to be the same. I'm still going to enjoy it as best as I can, but the reveal of that twist is just, it's never the same. It never feels as good. And I think me wanting something more from this twist and getting exactly what I thought it would be is what disappointed me the most with this movie. I know it sounds like I have a lot more negative to say than positive to say, but I do think people need to check out this movie. I think it's a good conversation piece, and I think there's a lot to take away from this movie. There's a lot of different symbolism that we see in this movie that I probably didn't catch all of it. And I've noticed between conversations with people and what they felt the movie represented and where these people came from and all these unanswered questions, and I've been seeing a lot of different people with a lot of different answers, and I think that's the point of this movie, is to have a conversation. So I definitely would recommend seeing it, but don't go in with such high expectations like I did, because you will be disappointed. Or and if you love the movie, then you know, whatever. I'm not perfect, but this one just wasn't for me personally. I'm not telling you to skip it, but definitely don't see it ASAP. I mean, if you feel like you want something more to see, then we should probably go see that. But if you do want to see it and have that conversation, I'm down to talk about it, whoever you talk about it with. If you heard differently, just go see it for yourself. Just because I didn't fully enjoy it doesn't mean I'm telling anybody to skip it. Definitely go check this movie out. I would love to hear the conversations that people are having about it, what people think about the different symbols in it, all of the different meanings behind certain shots and different things like that. I mean, it's definitely a conversation piece to be had with this movie. It's just one that wasn't for me. And I'm not gonna be one of those people that are just like, oh, either it's great or it's terrible. It's just a movie, and it's okay to just be a movie. I am disappointed. I was a little disappointed because I had it on such a high pedestal because of how great Get Out was, but not a lot of people have been feeling like that. I've been people saying that it was great and believe the hype. I do not think so, but you know, who am I? I am still excited to see what Jordan Peele will have in the future, because I mean, the man directed his ass off in this movie. This movie was a beautiful movie to look at, a beautiful movie to watch, a good movie theater experience, but I was disappointed with the outcome, and that's just me, and that's okay. If you saw the movie already, let me know what you think. I would love to hear about it in the comments below. Just come talk to me. I'm down to talk about this movie. I feel like there's a lot to cover with these movies, but try to keep it spoiler light in the comments, because I know there's some people that are going to be watching this that haven't seen it yet. But if you haven't yet, I hope you do enjoy it, and if you don't, come tell me why you didn't. If you haven't already, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and check out the rest of the videos that I have dropped, and be looking forward to the videos that I have coming soon. I know this year is going to be a packed year with a bunch of different movies. It's going to be Endgame coming out. I'm definitely going to be reviewing that. Shazam is next month. There's a bunch of movies that are coming out in the next couple months that I'm very excited to be looking forward to. And I hope you guys are looking forward to checking them out on my channel. And as always, I appreciate you guys for coming through and checking out the review, and I'll see you on the next episode.